Welcome to the Dying is Easy podcast, a show about stand-up comedy. My name is Mike Calcagno, and alongside with me is...
John Ziegler.
Why is dying easy? Because comedy is hard. Welcome back, boys and girls. Another episode of the Dying is Easy podcast. I want to name the studio. Like, I know it's my house, but... usually it's like we're here in so-and-so. And,
like the compound. Like
yeah,
Anthony
but
Cumia
like
is the
it's...
compound.
we're just in like Suffolk, so it's not great.
All right. By next episode, we'll have a name for the podcast.
We wanted to go video by now. We're week 16. This thing sucks. All right, welcome back. We're gonna do some fan mail. We have a special guest to call in later. Email us as always. Email us. We're kind of light on the fan mail, which is bad because you guys know we don't really prep for this. dyingiseasypodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions. Could be comedy related. Could be, whatever. Like my dumb family ex.
Preferably comedy related.
Yeah, preferably comedy. That goes to all the Calcagnos out there.
Preferably.
Preferably?
I
don't think it's, I think we're both wrong, maybe. What are you saying?
think we're both. It's got to be one of those two.
What's the word?
Preferably.
Yeah, you're right. You know what's crazy? I'll never learn. I'll never say correctly. My brain can't learn new things anymore. I don't know what happened to me. Like, I still don't know what it is. Preferably.
Wow, you have very short
Isn't that
attention.
amazing? It's gone. Preferably.
Back in my day, we called that retarded.
Mentally challenged. Who has the bit about that? Where it's like mentally challenged sounds worse.
Louis C.K.
Yeah, mentally challenged sounds worse. All right.
Yeah.
We got two questions to read, and they're from our favorites here at the Dying is Easy podcast. Next, first question, we'll do Jamie first. She writes...
Let's get that one over with.
Yeah, I made her rewrite a question. That's how bad the first one was. So her question is, what's your least favorite part about stand-up comedy?
Oh, that's a real question, Jamie.
You know why?
Up in her game.
Because I wrote it.
Because you beat her.
Yeah. What's your least favorite part about stand-up comedy?
I'm not even going to lie. I really, there's nothing about stand-up that I don't like. Even the shitty stuff I kind of like because that's part of it. I think as you move along, like I've been doing this for almost 12 years. It was 12 years now. It does become, there's part of it that's a business. And you got to deal with the business shit. So that's probably the worst part is having to beg for bookers and...
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right. I think you overthought this a little bit because my answer is, I thought about this for a little, my least favorite part is also kind of my favorite part is just how hard this is.
But I agree. Yes, that's a frustrating part, but it's one of my favorite parts because it makes, when you write a good bit, it makes it so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
When you get a 2-minute, really solid joke, I think that makes it worth it. If it was easy, it wouldn't mean so much to me.
I think that's why I like comedy because I like the challenge, but the odds are kind of stacked against you. Like comedy kind of doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Just pursuing it's got to be a perfect setting. Everyone's got to be packed indoors. Like there's a lot of failure and opportunities for like that's my least favorite part. And like you said, yeah, open mics suck, but I'm kind of like, all right, let's do another one.
But all that failure is what makes you good.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where no matter what scenario you're stuck in front of, you can handle. Like right now, comedy is as hard as it can be. You're outdoors. You're standing on a soapbox someplace. The audiences are 50 feet away. It's everything stacked against you doing comedy. But it feels good to feel like a pro that go, well, this is going to suck, but it's going to be about I can handle this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not intimidated by it.
I was doing a gig with Downey, Kevin Downey Jr., and I'm hosting, he's headlining. I forget what the feature was, but there was a table of ladies that were just so loud and so annoying. And I was nervous. I'm like, I know they're going to be a problem. And Downey was just like, yeah, this happens. Like I'm whatever.
Yeah, he's been doing the road for 25 years.
I've had a loud table of women 1,000 times. And I went, oh, so this is just going to happen. And he's like, yeah.
And you don't want it, but it's not gonna rattle your cage. You just know what to do. You've been there before.
Yeah.
It's just so the hard part of comedy also makes you better. there's really, you watch that when you watch sports. There's guys who are like, fighter, UFC, guys who have been around, they're 42-17. I'm like, what is that guy not seen in a cage?
Right, experience.
Yeah.
Do you feel like most gigs you're going in, like, this is going to suck? I feel like most gigs are like, this is going to be shitty.
I'm so still delusional because part of it's an arrogance that I think I got okay at this. And I've done enough gigs that I walk in and I'm like, this looks really bad. Like, I'm going to get, and so many of them I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're gonna win them over.
Yeah.
I hate that comic. Like, let me go fix him. You're gonna suck too.
Yeah. It's like, just give me, I know that was rough for you. Like, give me the mic. I know what to do from here.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I eat shit.
You're gonna fucking bomb in front of everybody,
changes.
asshole.
So, well, that's a good question. So, but there's nothing about comedy. I like it all. I like the road. I like the shitty gigs. I like hanging out with other comics, even when they're like low level shitty comics who are trying too hard.
I don't like hanging out with comics. I don't know. I don't think you do either. You sure about that? Hanging out with comics? I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Some of them,
even the ones I hate. I like yelling at them.
I can name the comics I like with two fingers. That's what.
Well, I didn't say I like them. It's just I can talk about comics.
Yeah. Okay. You have one thing in common.
Yeah. Which is one more thing that I have with most people.
Yeah.
All right. That was a good question. All right. Good job, Jamie.
I thought of it. Next question. Jamie's next question next week is going to be, what's your least favorite part about stand-up comedy? The second question is from Dawn. President of the board, she titled herself now. That's
she's giving herself
self-entitlement.
Oh, okay.
Preferably.
I said president of the fan club.
Yeah,
she probably tried to copy that and couldn't remember the title I gave her. President of the board. It's chairman of the board. It's Frank Sinatra. You're president of the fan club.
All right. Are we fighting right now?
Yeah,
we're fighting right now? We're in a fight?
We're in a fight.
If you had your choice, in all caps, so I have to say, if you had your choice to be a road comic or just a stay-at-home and work the local club's comic, what would your preference be? And do you think there is disadvantages/advantages to either? So
did she really write every other word in block letters?
Block letters. And long story short, do you want to be a road comic or a local comic?
A road comic.
Okay.
I think a lot of local comics are hobbyists. They have restrictions. They have a day job. They can't commit to this the way they want to.
Yeah.
And I think you're a better comic if you play a more variety of rooms and clubs. If you understand what I mean, like to be in your comfort zone, to play like the local clubs here are Governors on Long Island. And we love them. They're our home clubs. We've been playing there for 12 years, but I'm better when I can't just do Governors my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to Bananas or do some, a room in a hotel in Allentown, those kind of rooms, private gigs. I think it makes me better. I like meeting other comics. I like going on the road and testing myself, especially out of state, because when you start this, you think it's going to be, oh, what's it like in Indianapolis or Utah? It's just people. If you can,
if you call them that, yeah.
If you want, if funny should be funny, you shouldn't be like, I left my bubble and my act doesn't work.
Yeah. So this question, it's interesting for guys like for us because the local clubs, the crowds are very similar to a road.
Very similar.
So
Governors is the demographic of the majority of road gigs
of the country. So kind of that. I mean, we have a great market. Well, not now, but the road clubs are in driving distance.
A lot of them,
and within under 20 minutes, you can be at any club on Long Island.
Yes,
and then we have the city, which to me is a different world of comedy, like a different.
It is. It's
way different crowds, younger, way more liberal.
Different demographic. Yep. The comics are different.
So to me, it's like I kind of have both already.
Mm-hmm.
Road, local. Like I kind of just wish I want my career that I had before all this shit happened. Like I was pretty happy. I was playing the city. I was playing the road. I was playing local clubs Fridays and Saturdays. I was on the road. I mean, I was.
The road's a hard life. Like I'm on a road. Dog.
Yeah, it is.
Like Downey. We mentioned Kevin Downey Jr. He's been doing this for over 25 years. And Kevin works every weekend. He's done, I think, 49 of the 50 states.
That's crazy.
I think there's one state he hasn't done. But he's a road dog.
Every weekend.
Yeah, and it's a hard life. And, now his girlfriend's a comic, and he'll get her to open for him. And so he gets to travel with her and stuff, so it doesn't affect his relationship. That's a hard thing if you're in a relationship to be gone all the time. And you can sometimes make a thing of it. Mm-hmm. Like you're going to play, Jersey, you take somebody with you, and at night. But it's not always appropriate to bring somebody. If you have a corporate gig or a theater, you can't always bring somebody with you.
I duped Jamie. We didn't have a honeymoon. We bought the house instead.
Is that Westport?
Yeah.
I remember I called you. I called you, and you're like,
I was doing the comedy contest in Westport, Connecticut.
That was your honeymoon.
And I was like, Jamie, let's get a room. Like, that's going to replace. She wanted to go to Madagascar. But instead, we went to Westport, Connecticut.
It's nice, Westport.
For our honeymoon.
There's a Shake Shack there.
It was a fucking shithole. We went to. This is how bad.
You stayed at the Bistro B?
No, the cheaper one down the block. This is how shitty our.
You couldn't even spring for the hotel where the show was at.
Maybe we did.
You had to get in a car and commute. It's in a hotel.
This was how shitty our honeymoon was. I first of all, I can't believe I put that on her. And then we went to Dairy Queen and we got a Blizzard. And it fucking fell out of the thing when you tipped it over. You know what I mean? Like you turn it. Yeah, so that's how you know the weekend's bad. So
no, but I think I like being a road cop. But there's some, if I was on the road every weekend, I think it can get tiring.
It is tiring.
I do enjoy the life. I like the fact that you're off all day. You're in a city you've never been to. So you go to the mall, you go to a movie, you find a place to eat, you do a show at night. And I love when it's like, because a lot of these road comedy clubs are in hotels. They're in like the banquet room of a hotel. That's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So you just finish your show and then you walk up the stairs. You basically walk to work. I enjoy going on the road. And again, if you're in a relationship, you can make it a weekend. I mean, people have jobs, so people can't always disappear like you can.
Well, I mean, I guess I am a hobbyist right now because I have a full-time job doing comedy. But
that's where no, but you do 350 shows a year. That's not a hobbyist. Yeah. It's not like you're doing a mic now and then. You work hard.
Yeah, when I could. So, all right. Thank you, Dawn and Jamie. Keep emailing us, dyingiseasypodcast@gmail.com. All right. I'm very excited to, I wish we had like a thing for like when we're going to call somebody.
Yeah, make one of those.
Yeah, maybe I'll do, I got to work on this. You have to work on stuff, right? Yeah. For it to be good? Okay. Yeah,
come up with
all right.
A guest button.
Yeah, guest. Why don't you fucking come up with a guest button? No, that's the end. Thank you guys. Email us. All right, we're going to call our good buddy Soul Joel here. Let's see what he says. This is, all right. Hello.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How's the sound quality, all right?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we just started, but we're getting there. So we got John Ziegler here. Welcome, Soul Joel, to the Dying is Easy podcast. Joel, have you ever heard of this podcast until right now?
No, actually, I appreciate you not even tagging me on Facebook. I saw the post, and I've never been more humbled in my entire life that you announced you're looking forward to recording another episode. And I'm like, how am I seeing this? And you didn't announce me as the guest or say that I'm even going to be on. You didn't tag me or anything. So thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, you're always welcome to not be tagged on Facebook. Well, the episode airs next week, and then we'll do the tag and Soul Joel, and then you do all the things. I guess I don't know how to do this stuff, but
you didn't tag me.
Well, thank you.
I'm your partner. You didn't tag me
because I can't tag you because you're not public. So then I have to call you, and I have to call you. You have to make the post public, and then it's a whole fucking thing, and then nobody cares anyway. How was your show? You did a show?
Dude, what's so funny is I actually, it was great, man. I had Chris Roach and Mike Keegan, who I know are good friends of both of yours. I was on Keegan's podcast recently. I forgot to mention this with Carla. Dude, so you know how there's always two shows going on? There's one for the audience and there's one for the comics.
Sure.
And I had Keegan open up for Joe DeRosa at my comedy club. And Keegan was right before the show, and DeRosa goes, yeah, because where my comedy club is, it was right near DeRosa. It was Thanksgiving weekend, right where he grew up and went to high school. And DeRosa said right before he went home, he goes, I want to see who Joel has opening for me. And literally saw that Keegan was on the show and goes, I didn't know Carla Okerson's boyfriend was a comic.
That's
How
Keegan.
funny is that, dude?
That's Keegan's biggest credit right there. He's
yeah. And I literally go to Keegan. I go, I can't believe I didn't talk about this on your podcast. But right before the show, you go up to a comic and ask, what do you want your credits to be? And I go, I don't know how to tell you this, and I told him the story. And Keegan just kind of looked at me like, way to take the wind out of my sails right before I go on stage. Thank you so much.
Dating Big J's girlfriend. That's so funny.
We call him Big Mike Keegan.
Yeah. Ex-wife.
Mike Okerson.
Yeah, Big Mike Okerson.
I have a funny Joe. Did I ever tell you my Joe DeRosa story?
No.
So Joe DeRosa is headlining one of the clubs here on Long Island, and the MC doesn't show up. And I live right here, so they call me to like, can you get down to the club? And I go, I'll be like 10 minutes late. They hold the show. I get there. Joe DeRosa has no idea that I'm filling in for somebody. He thinks I'm just like a dick MC who rolled in late and had an attitude. So I ran. I go up. I go, Joe, what do you want me to say about you? I run up on stage. I throw my book down. I do my time. I bring him up. He's cold to me all night. Like, he's not being a dick to me. He's just like one-word answers. And then the booker came down and goes, good thing Ziegler was around to kind of bail us out when the MC didn't show up. And he's like, oh, dude. He goes, you weren't. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't even booked. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I was being a dick to you all night because I thought you were just like an arrogant asshole. And he's like, he was the nicest guy. He was so apologetic. But all night, I'm like, Joe DeRosa is kind of being a dick to me.
Douchebag.
But he turned out he was so embarrassed by it because, great guy.
I was thinking about.
Turns out, great guy.
I was thinking about Joel. Do you remember the first? You're not gonna remember this. The first gig I did for you. It was.
Yeah. You freaking Ubered an hour.
Okay.
You were embarrassed to tell me that your car broke down.
Wait. The funniest part was. You texted me the day of. This is the first gig I ever did with Joel. First gig for it's like I got referred. Yeah. I got referred by Richie Burns. Like this is I'm excited. I'm nervous.
You're neurotic and you're OCD.
I left Long Island at 11 a.m. I'm like, I'll get there by 1:30, no problem. I'm about an hour from the casino, and my car smoked up the entire Pennsylvania Turnpike. Pure white smoke. I'm like, I'm fucked. It's like 6:30, and I get a call from Joel, and he's like, hey, man, are you around? And I'm like, I just made a quick stop. And he's like, it sounds like that's a stop at a strip club. Like, who just makes a quick stop?
6:30 at night now?
Yeah.
Very weird thing to say.
So he goes, that sounds like you just like stopped off at a strip club and like, are you fucking because comics are animals. Like I could have got hammered and I'll miss the gig totally. So I had my car towed to Subaru and took an hour Uber to the casino. And I got there. I got there like 20 minutes before the show, maybe a half an hour. But
yeah, dude, you like made it by the skin of your teeth, and I'm like. Meanwhile, to reveal the break the fourth wall, I actually passed from my house to the casino, past where you were. So if you just would have told me an hour before that, we could have avoided this whole mess.
You know what it is? I'm just such a nervous pussy. I don't want to cause any waves.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm the same way, though. I was always the same way.
I'm just such a pussy. I agreed to a gig that was like 8 hours away, and she mentioned a hotel room, and I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want to ask her again if there's a hotel room. I'm like, it's fucking 8 hours away. Just ask her. But I don't want to cause any waves. You know what I mean? Like, that's just who I am. But
I was supposed to be at Joel's club with Roach. This was right before. I'm trying to think what month. It might have been January or February, Joel.
It was February, and I think it turns out that Roach got corona before anybody else.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But
no, I think
he came down with the flu. Yeah.
I think he had COVID.
Yeah, I think so too.
At the time, we didn't know. We didn't know much about it then.
Yeah, exactly.
He calls me the night.
Crazy.
Yeah, he called me the night before, and he's like, "Fuck, dude, my wife is sick. I'm sick. I don't know what's gonna be tomorrow." So I'm so like lazy in terms of driving, and like I wanted to go with him. So he's like, I'm really sick, dude. You may want to take your own car. I'm like, it's just the flu. I'll be all right. I'm like, no, I'll ride with you. I didn't even care. I exposed myself to COVID.
Yeah, it's
just for company.
It's just the biggest pandemic since swine flu. Let me hop in your car to save some gas money just to get to this gig. A lot of people say they had it, coronavirus, but people get an antibody test now, and. What's amazing?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I actually, one of the comics came down, Mike Cannon with Brendan Saglow, and this was the first week in February before, we knew about any of this, and he a huge, a pharmacy bag full from CVS, and it was like, oh man, I don't want to touch your hand or anything like that. Give me an elbow. He's like, I'm really sick, and then goes and coughs all over the microphone. And dude, for the next 3 days, I got the worst flu-like symptoms. Like I didn't get that lack of sense of smell or taste, but I never get the flu, and I got the worst case of the flu. So I don't know if I had it back in February, but it definitely got the worst case of the flu I've ever gotten.
What was the bag? A pharmacy bag? Say that part again.
I guess medications and things.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that I talk for a living. He just had a bag full of drugs from CVS, and just just self-medicating, and just gave me the elbow pound, and then went and told jokes and coughed all over the microphone for 20 minutes.
Any person that has a CVS bag full of medication, I don't think I want to touch the microphone after they're done. But,
no, exactly.
But what's amazing about I'm going to blow smoke because I want to get booked more. You're like one of the only people that made no excuses during this whole pandemic. You've opened up this, opened up that. You kept working when other places aren't. Like the shutdown. I mean, I feel bad. I'm like, fucking Joel just opened up his club, and then a global pandemic hits. But then you made the place outdoors. Like you're doing all your outdoor events now. It's like I don't know how. Like
it's crazy. And so I opened up my club. I've been in this business for 14 years, and I opened up back in November. We were open up 1 day a week for the first month, and then by the end of February, we were open up 5 days a week, including our open mic Mondays. And literally 2 weeks later, shut down like everybody else. And I just said, man, I was like, well, I got two choices. I could freaking just quit, or I could just start the momentum again. And I'm not gonna go out without a punch, man. So I started doing the outdoor shows, and they're not the same, but I've developed the following of it doesn't matter who's on the show. They come out to see good comedy because they know I put on strong shows, and that's why I book a tight lineup. And the crowds, even though they're outside, dude, they've all been hot, man. They've all been hot.
No, I've never done every show I've done at the club has been good with as far as like crowds and even the people that I've seen before. They come back, but it's just amazing just because me and Ziegler we're like no excuse guys. We're shut up, nobody cares, work harder, and it's nice to see somebody that to see what you're doing every day. It's like a new fucking thing. Soul Joel's. Amphitheater, all these new things you're doing just to survive this global pandemic, which is really cool.
I also think, Joel,
I try to think of myself as like a modern day Barnum and Bailey, man. I'm just a hype man.
Well, you've booked no bullshit. You've booked quality shows, and Mike and I have talked about this. Comedy's hard enough when everything's right. You know what I mean? Like in a room that's perfect lighting, everything. When you have to do comedy outdoors, there's going to be some drawbacks to it. You need solid comics. It's not easy. It's harder to do. And I've watched. You've had all your lineups from top to bottom have been really solid. I see them on Facebook. A lot of those guys are my friends. So it does makes a difference when I see Roach and Crumps and Dan Barry and those guys and Dennis Rooney. They're all Long Island guys.
Yeah.
What's the what are the laws? We're in New York, obviously. What's the laws in Pennsylvania? Are you allowed to open indoors? Is it just not worth it? Is it too many restrictions?
You're allowed to. So I didn't actually realize this until I was explaining it to another comedian, but it's a traffic pattern. There was red, yellow, and the green phase. Like we're in the green phase, which is the last phase in Pennsylvania, but you're allowed to open up indoors at 25% capacity. So we were at 150 people, so just call it 160. If we open indoors, we'd be able to open at 40 people each. And another business owner was like, "John, don't worry about it. You can go if you know everybody, just go up to 70." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that, man. With the cell phones and
no, you're creating a headache."
Yeah, I'd rather just stay outside. Everybody's safe, and everybody can, just decide what they want to do. It's just better off, and better off.
It's like you just got the club, and now you're gonna play the shitty game of fucking breaking the rules. Like there was a bar in Patchogue. This was like maybe April when we were on a hardcore lockdown. There was a bar in Patchogue on Long Island, and they were just allowing patrons in.
Yeah, and people are losing liquor licenses. It's bad.
You're gonna get caught. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're able to survive during this, it's like I don't know. I bought a shirt. I know,
man. I know. You were one of.
I bought a Soul Joel shirt.
You were one of 4 comics that bought my shirt. And certain comics, they message. We got to do our part to make sure you're here after the pandemic. So, listen, for $25, man, I'll never forget you.
Ziegler's pulling out his phone right now to buy a T-shirt at this moment.
I know. I thought about that. I thought about that as I was saying it. I'm like, well, sorry, John.
So funny. So funny.
I'm on Groupon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ordering a lady through Wayfair right now. A small Asian woman's going to appear in his cabinet.
Yeah.
Am I here? Is that
Joel's got some leftover scoop next. I just got him on Groupon half off.
Is that a real story, by the way? Wayfair is...
I don't know what that is.
Wayfair cabinets. They're, what's that called? Human trafficking?
I don't know. I'd like to believe it's true, but I don't know.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Anybody sold? No? Joel?
No.
Apparently Wayfair, if you order a cabinet through Wayfair, like you might get an Asian lady. I don't know.
It's a good marketing campaign. I don't think it's true though.
I think I'm fucking this up, but
yeah, I think so.
No, there's human trafficking is big.
Yeah, not in the cabinet industry. It's not.
Wayfair, human trafficking. I'm telling you, this is a hardcore switch on premises in the podcast right now. We went from no excuses, grind, hustle to Asian ladies in cabinets.
We're doing it.
So Joe, are you booking things like private things also? You're booking outside of your own club? Is there any opportunity?
Yeah. So I pretty much I do the shows at Valley Forge Casino, and then had the opportunity to open up my own club. So that all my club did was fill the void of me doing the shows at the casino in the same area. But I've always done fundraisers and other venues. I had my own circuit.
Yeah, I know.
Shows that I did once a month, and I'll always continue. I always have Soul Joel Productions that I produce over 200 shows a year.
Are some of those running right now? Is everything shut down for the most part, except for your club, or are some of those shows?
Yeah. I only started doing one other venue, but yeah, I've only been doing pretty much shows at my club. Just because everything else is like, even the shows that I've been doing for 10 years at certain venues, like the restaurant is still trying to adapt to handle the takeout and the outdoor dining. They don't want, a comedy show to be another, I can't believe it, but a headache. Like they're just trying to survive themselves, man,
Because I did the gig I did for you was at the Hawley Silk Mill.
Yeah.
Holy PA, yeah,
that was a real. It was Dennis Rooney and Tim Crumpia. We had such a good time. It was great. It was a great little. But that kind of place is like a wedding place. I have to assume they're not even open.
Well, yeah, they're not even open. There was a show that we did, but what's funny is the entertainment director called me up and he goes, "Hey, your comics aren't doing anything. They're sitting around, and do you have 3 guys that want to come and donate their time? We'll give them do 2 shows. We'll give them 2 hotel rooms and food for the week." And I go, and this is where I get really upset and defensive over comics. I pay comics more money, and I always pay out the maximum of my budget. I'm like, where do you get off wanting the comics? Why? No other industry. You want comics to donate their time. If they want free food, they could stay at home. It costs them money, gas and tolls to drive to the venue. Why do comics have to donate their time? Do you ever ask your accountant to do your taxes for free for the year? No. Comics get paid too, man. And then all of a sudden he was like, all right, we won't do it. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to do it. I'm really insulted. I've been doing shows for 10 years at this place. Why you would call me up? It was for their employees that they have like 5 different resorts, and they're going back to clean the place and get ready for the summer. And they wanted to do a show for the employees. The guy was saying, oh, they've gotten PPP loans and money from the government and the local politicians. Yeah, how about breaking off $1,000 to pay the comics, you scumbag?
1,000? I'm free.
You had Calcagno at chicken wings.
Yeah, well, no, I meant to pay 3 comics or whatever. You know what I mean, per night. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean, to break it up. I'm just giving an example. Like,
no, I agree with you.
You're still there. I thought I lost you on that rant.
No, I agree with you. And I wish more club owners kind of advocated for comics like that because, guys work hard to develop a skill set and you should be paid for it.
One of my favorite things Richie Burns said, we were doing a road gig, and I guess whoever was running the event Richie just asked Richie to go a little longer, to do like 15 minutes more. And Richie like jokingly said, he's like, well, if you order a second plate at a restaurant, they're going to charge you. So if I'm doing more time, and he was just kind of joking about it. But when he put it like that, I was like, oh yeah, if you want more food and more, that's money. If you want more time, it's money. But I want to plug your, I'll let you plug the comedy festival. Do you see the comics he's got? What does it start next week? Your comedy festival?
Yeah, so starting next week, we got Joe List opening up.
Joe List
Friday, July 31st, and we're gonna do 16 straight nights. Oh, I'm sorry, 17 straight nights through August 16th. Different comics every night.
Listen to these comics: Sherrod Small, Mark Norman, Jibby Schubert, Pete Dominic, Aunt Mary Pat, Jessica Curson, Keith Robinson.
Damn, that's
like Chuck Nice. Chuck Nice is on there too. Giannis Pappas just got added to the list. Jimmy Schubert is Friday night, August 7th, and we're about to confirm some other big names too. That's
like a heavy lineup.
It's a great lineup.
Of just
I'm
fucking
a fan of a lot of those guys.
Killers.
Joe List is one of my favorite comics. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Big D Potato too.
Okay.
Oh,
you got too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Where are all these shows happening?
All of the outside the comedy club at the amphitheater.
Okay, nice. So every night there's going to be a show. It's good for 2 weeks. That's nice. Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. But
yeah,
Joe List is still trying to figure out how to pronounce Royersford.
Oh my god, that's funny.
They plugged you on. You listen to their podcast Tuesdays with Stories. Mark Norman and Joe List.
Yeah.
They plugged
Mark Norman. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, they're trying to plug your gig, Royersford.
No, Joe List labored for about 8 minutes on Royersford.
You can't say car.
They're both of those guys, two of the best. Those guys. That's a great lineup, Joel.
Yeah, but we're gonna wrap up here.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for donating your time for free to us at the Dying is Easy podcast. Plug whatever you got to say. Your Instagram handles, social media handles. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so it's all at SJP Comedy, like Sarah Jessica Parker, SJP Comedy. Like us on Facebook and Instagram and souljoels.com as our website. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Where do we get those T-shirts? You got merch online?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, merch online. Yeah, come on, John, get on board.
I'm on it.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm all over it.
Thanks.
All right, man. Joel, thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, Joel. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so that's it. That was
Yeah, the reception was in and out, but I really wanted him to get in when he wanted to get in because I think it's awesome. All bullshit.
He's a no excuse guy.
All bullshit aside, I love it. And not for nothing. They did this. It's our hometown, but Governors did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to build a whole outside.
Freaking capitalism.
Yeah, you had to go out and build a whole outside theater, and the work that they went through to open up indoors.
Yeah.
I talked to James about the preparations you had to do. There's ultraviolet lights he has to put in at night that kills everything. HEPA filter. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of codes to keep those doors open. So I appreciate what Joel did. And that's a legit line.
I mean, I'm not bullshitting. If you guys live in that area, I don't know who you guys. It's Dawn and Jamie, but and my cousin Jim. Go check out his shows. They start July 31st, and they will be a show every night at
Keith Robinson, Jess
Soul Joe's
Carson.
Comedy Club. Keith Robinson's hilarious.
That's great. They're all good. Excellent lineup.
I mean, we can't really do new bits, right? I mean, I have a quick one, but if it's up to you, it's...
Go ahead. Do your new bit. Let's hear it.
All right, this is kind of a true story. First paid gig I ever got, I did a show in Queens. And it was horrible. Like these stupid apartment shows, they never work. It just never works out.
You say apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was a paid gig. It's 8 people. The guy gave me his vacuum.
As what, payment?
Payment, yeah. So I took his vacuum.
That's...
Yeah. Well, this is... I kind of went... He was throwing...
Like Joel's talking about us not just, just paying us in food. But right now, the food's looking pretty good after the vacuum.
Well, he was like, I'm throwing the vacuum out. And I said, oh, can I take it? So that's kind of paid, right? I took... It's
a barter system.
So I'm walking down Queens Boulevard to the subway with the vacuum. And it's embarrassing. Shit's falling off the vacuum. And I'm like, I don't need the hose part. I'm not going to go back and pick up the pieces. But then I was embarrassed to go on the subway with a vacuum. But then I was like, oh, it's the New York City subway. Nothing's really embarrassing.
Were you living with Jamie yet?
Yeah, I was in Queens.
So you have to come home and be like, Jamie, you're not going to believe what I got.
We got a Dyson. You just fart?
No.
Okay. Somebody did. One of us farted. I don't know. So I was embarrassed. I'm like, I'm going to be the fucking asshole in the subway bringing a vacuum. You ever seen these guys in the subway? Like one guy had an 8x4. I don't think they make those. Not a 2x4, an 8x. It was like 30 feet long on the New York City subway. I'm like, everybody hates you. So I'm like, I'm going to be the vacuum guy. But then I realized like, oh, there's also a guy on the same subway. There was a guy who thought he was a T-Rex. So it's not really that embarrassing. I'm just the vacuum guy. This guy thinks he's a T-Rex, and he also had a vacuum, which is a funny tag. So,
which is funny.
I think that could be a funny story on stage.
It is a funny story. You get paid on a vacuum.
Yeah.
I'll do one short new bit.
Yeah, do a quick one. I'm sweating my balls off in here.
It's brutal in here.
Jesus Christ.
My new bit was what I did one tonight. Oh, you remember slot machines used to be fun? Like they changed slot machines. Slot machines used to be when I was
rewarding.
Well, it was like 7, or like Joker, or like 3 cherries. It was really easy. You pulled an arm, and then you knew what you... Like I play... First of all, slot machines are all theme games now. It's like the Harry Potter. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? When I play a slot now, you just push a button. There's no more arm. But it's like a grid. There's 70 lines. I never know when it's over if I even won or not.
Oh, if you won a prize? Like
I have no idea.
You could have won $10 million. Like, this game sucks.
It just goes off and you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. There's so many lines. Like a quarter slot machine, you used to put in a quarter. But now it's a quarter per line. And you want to play all the lines because it pays off more. So you're like, next thing you know, I'm like, that just cost me $9 for a quarter slot. You ever play slots?
Yeah, I'm also the worst at gambling.
But I can't figure out. Like, I play slots now. I don't even know why I play. You go through $20 in like a minute. You just hit a button, and then it spins, and you're like, unless it gives you money, I don't know if I won or not.
I thought slots were like penny, nickel.
Yeah, $1, quarter.
They go that high. I don't know.
No, you can play $100 slots.
So you want to pull the lever like a monkey. I want
to pull the lever. I want to get something out of it. But it's a grid. It used to be one line.
Yeah.
And it would just be like 3 sevens and you won. You knew what you were rooting for.
Yeah.
But now it's like a New York City subway grid. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm even looking for. There's so many possible combinations.
Yeah, maybe. So it got smarter and you didn't.
Yeah, it's evolved.
Slots got smarter and you didn't.
Like I could have won and they'd be like, just don't tell him. He doesn't. He thinks he lost.
I'm the worst. When I do scratch offs, I'm like, okay, so these are the winning numbers. Now I have to X Jamie. I'm like, okay, so now I have to match.
You get the ones where it's like what they have as a 7. You got to beat the 7.
Yeah.
So you're like, if I get an 8,
that
would be more than.
It says like ages 3 and up. On the thing.
That's the one. You need the real simple.
That is an observation. That is a funny observation though. That
I won't play a slot machine.
Yeah, it's not rewarding anymore.
No, it's
too like
I'm gambling once or in a casino.
It's like making a coffee now, just pushing buttons and.
I'm in a casino with Dawn and I have a gambling problem. I don't gamble because I lose my money. So I'm playing a game called Caribbean Stud, and it's the first time I've played in years. And next thing you know, I'm like a junkie. I'm just fucking throwing money down. And Dawn, she's standing over my shoulder. So I'm like, here's $20. Go play a slot. It's like a nickel slot. I look over like 40 seconds later, and she's out of.
Gone.
I go, how did you spend $20 in nickels in under a minute?
How many nickels is that? A million?
Like a lot.
20 million? Is that $20?
But it's not her. It's the game.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I got to play all the nickels. It says max bet. It doesn't even let you put the nickel. You just put a card in. You hit a button. It says max bet. Whew. And next thing you know, it's just like max bet's like, you just spent $100 in nickels.
Yeah. Here's the problem with gambling now. It's like if I went to a casino, I'd have to spend $100 just to kind of figure the game out. Because you have to spend money to activate it, right? You can't like do a warm-up, a free one.
There's no practice.
So it's like, all right, I'm down $38 and I don't really know how to play the game yet.
Yeah, so I'm gambling, but I don't want like somebody standing over my shoulder.
Like a vulture.
Yeah, so I'm like, here's $20, go play. But I thought it would last a while.
Gone.
I'm like, that was the worst investment I've ever made. Fucking Ponzi scheme.
That's a funny part of the joke. You got to add Dawn.
Like I give her $20 and then I turn around and she's back over my shoulder. I'm like, where's the money?
That's funny.
Anyway, I think
hit
I can't. It's too hot. I would do more.
No,
I can't.
I'm dying. Thank you, Joel, for letting us talk to you there. Check out Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge, doing a lot of shows over there. As always, email us, dyingiseasypodcast@gmail.com.
SJP, Sarah Jessica Parker. That thing he said actually worked.
SJP.
Yeah, that worked. It worked on me.
SJP Comedy. He's on TikTok too, so I got to make more TikToks. That's what I got to do.
That's what you need.
That's what my life. I have a mortgage. I got to make more TikToks.
All right, send us some damn emails.
Yeah, send fucking emails. I'm talking to you, Jim and Jack.
Joey Goodsong.
Joey Goodsong. Send us your emails. We kind of made fun of him. Every time, you know what? Every time he wrote an email, we made fun of him about it. So he's probably like, I'm not going to.
I'm making amends.
So. All right. Mike Calcagno Comedy on YouTube and Facebook, and at Mike Cags on Instagram and Twitter. My Twitter feed is getting hot, guys. Last tweet just got 8 likes.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.